In this video, let's take a look at how to create a new question project. First, click New to open up the Create New Project dialog. Then select Question Project, then click Create. In the expanded dialog, you can opt to have the preview pane showing, or you can collapse it. For this example, we'll go ahead and show it. Now, the question project in previous versions was called the quiz project. However, now it's been fully redesigned, but you can still include quiz, which are scored slides, as well as survey, which are non-scored slides, or a combination of both within your question project. However, when creating your new question project, you must have at least one question along the main timeline in order to create the new project. So we'll go ahead and start there. Click Add Question. And then in the question dialog, select a question type. For example, we'll go ahead and go down the list here and let's see what options we have available to us. So, for example, we're going to go ahead and use multiple choice fill in the blanks to gather some information from our viewers. So we'll type in our question, please provide the following. Now, since we're only going to go ahead and get information from our viewers, such as name, their company, their email address, and so on, when we edit the project, this is not going to be a scored slide. It's going to be based upon being a survey slide, not scored. Next, in the question, when you create a new question project, you have the ability to select an auto layout template for the slide itself, based upon these three options. We cover this more detail in another tutorial. For now, we'll go ahead and just use the Fill Slide Auto template. Then we'll click OK. And as you notice, the slide is added along the main timeline. Now, new in ViewletBuilder8, we also have the ability to take advantage of question randomization options that will allow us to pull randomly from a bank of questions. We can actually set this all up while we're creating our new project in the new project dialog. So we'll go ahead and highlight it here, and then you can follow up in other tutorials for more details on how to work with these features. So let's start by going ahead and adding a question bank. Now, a question bank can have one of two scoring modes. It can either contain all scored slides or quiz slides, or all survey slides. You can't mix them in the bank. Okay, so that means that you'd have to, if you want to have multiple banks of quiz questions, you can go ahead and create multiple banks of questions. So we're going to start by going ahead and creating our first bank, and then we'll select the scoring mode of quiz for scored slides. Okay, and we'll click OK. And it adds the bank here in the list. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and have a separate bank for survey slides. I'll have to create another bank. Again, you can add multiple question banks based upon your needs. So we'll go ahead and give this one a different name, but we'll set the scoring mode to survey, and then we'll click OK. Now we need to populate the bank. Now you don't have to now when you're creating a new project. You can do it while you're editing your project. However, why not do it now while you have the chance to do it? So select the bank that you want to add quiz questions to or survey questions to, and then just add them. So for example, maybe in this one we'll do a drag and drop, and for the question we'll just say drag your answer, or maybe we'll just do ... Now again, the bank here is going to determine the scoring mode, and this was already set to have only scored or quiz questions in it, so we'll leave that there. That's why that's unavailable. And of course you can select your style. We'll click OK. And then you'll notice that it does add the slide to the bank right there. We can add as many as we want. Let's go ahead and add one more, maybe a click map, and say click on the correct response. Again, the scoring mode is set. We'll keep that style and click OK. We can also add questions, survey questions, to this bank here because the scoring mode was set up for that. So let's go ahead and do this now. We'll just add one. Let's maybe add a Likert scale and say rate your experience. And again, the scoring mode is already set for us. So we'll click OK. Once you've completed all of your setup here, you can be as complex as you want here, create the entire project here so you have less editing to do, or you can just set up as little as you want. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and select your slide options. This will determine the width and height of your slide. You can choose from a custom size, or you can go ahead and go through your standards as well. So you have different options here. And then in the Options tab, you can choose what style sheet you want to apply to your project slides when they're created. Then, once you're finished with making all of your selections in each of these tabs, simply click OK, and your question project slides will then be generated. Now, when you're looking at the interface for the first time, you're going to notice that if you've worked in previous versions, there's a little bit of a difference here. We'll go over this real quickly, and then you can follow up on your own. On the main timeline, here's the question slide that we created in the Slides tab. Over here, we have to click on the Question Banks tab, and then here are the question slides here, and you notice here's Bank 00, which contains these two slides that we created. But we can also go ahead and switch over to the other bank, and here's the survey slide, and if I click on it, it loads in the slide view over here ready for editing. So that's it for this topic. If you have any questions on this or any others while working with Carbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.carbon.com. Happy viewleting!